Welcome everyone to Inspire, Innovate, Ignite, Conversations That Count. So glad that you're here with us today, and we have a great topic. I'm super excited to talk about this topic, and we have some incredible panelists that are joining us to help us explore this. So we are going to be talking about the Age of Aquarius, and you know, it's important because that's where we are. We are in the Age of Aquarius right now. We've come out of the Age of Pisces into the Age of Aquarius. What does that mean? That's kind of some of what we're going to be talking about today. So there's been a big, huge energy shift over the last, decade. Really, we've noticed it. And we're in this whole new astrological period where things are changing and we're being asked to kind of walk into the unknown. We're being asked to let go of attachments. We're being asked to really work with energy in a different way. And this learning how to harness this energy is what is going to help us be able to move through the new energies that are coming up there. And it can feel kind of scary, but it doesn't have to. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how you can step into your power and become the leaders in your own life, the leaders that you are here to be. And our panelists are going to help us understand that. Also, just encourage you to head over to the website at some point after the call here, sacredyou.love. There's lots of featured events that you can sign up for that are free, just like this one. And so we'll give you the link after we're done here today. And now I'd just like to introduce our lovely panelists. So we have Josette Diaz. Josette is the founder of Guidance to Wellness. She's a guide and champion to women who are rediscovering themselves. And she teaches self-mastery through slowing down, listening deeply, and connecting within. And she's developed a signature coaching program named Seasons of the Soul. And this uses the 4 seasons as archetypes for change. And she's also coined her own version of healing as a Reiki master teacher in her signature healing journey meditation, which is kind of similar to a shamanic journey. Josette is also the host of Gaining Self-Esteem Through Heart-Centered Values. So welcome, Josette. And we have Jan Ravenfeather. She's an ordained priestess of the divine feminine energy. She's a retired nurse and death doula, Reiki master, workshop meditation and movement facilitator. She's an artisan and creator of sacred tools for healing. She's a priestess, temple priestess, ceremonialist, and ritual priestess. And she also does blessings and sacred rites of the passage. And she is the host of our tribe, Many Faces of the Goddess. So welcome, Jan. Thanks for being here. And we have Beck Smith. Bex is known as the cheerleader for change. Bex is a speaker, trainer, body psychotherapist, counselor, well-being mentor, corporate facilitator, and people and change consultant. She's on a mission to help you find your flow in change. Inspired by nature, her groundbreaking new change intelligence model, The Art of Yin, helps you better manage your emotions as you learn to adapt and grow to your changing environments. Super important. Thanks, Beck, for being here. It's going to be fun to talk to you again. And then we have Donna Maltz. Donna is a positivity coach. She's an eco-entrepreneur and business consultant, author, show host, blogger, speaker, and holistic chef, specializing in helping others live a legacy lifestyle as change makers and thought leaders. And her motto is, "Why retire when I can inspire?" I love that. She is a solutionist, spelled S-O-U-L. And just welcome, Donna. Thanks for being here with us. And I'm Lisa, and I do a lot of different things. So we'll just kind of move straight into the Age of Aquarius because I'm really excited to get going on this. And so what I'd like to do is just kind of go around the virtual room and talk about maybe you could share what the Age of Aquarius has meant to you. Like what have you seen as we've transitioned from Pisces to Aquarius, and what do you want to let the listeners know about it? And then we'll just dive into discussion after that. So Josette, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So to me, when I think of the Age of Aquarius, I think about all of the current transitions that so many people are going through right now, and how many people are really looking to find their heart's desire, for a lesser way of explaining it, just to kind of encompass it into one big thing. And that leadership is changing in that direction as well. People are really looking at the importance of mental health, the importance of how people are feeling emotionally, and they're ready to step out of all of the extreme doing and the pushing that we have been in for so long. And many of us have grown up with those kinds of, that system. And that's really shifting. So that's what I think of when I think of the Age of Aquarius. And it's time to start leading with passion and compassion and empathy. Mm-hmm.
Lisa, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. We've been taught to go, be productive, hustle, all this stuff is in deep in our programming, and unraveling that is interesting. It's been interesting, and we're seeing people go through this unraveling. So yeah, I love what you say about that. Thank you for that, Josette. Jan, love to hear from you about this.
Good morning. I really don't know much about the astrological impacts of the Age of Aquarius coming into our world, but I've certainly experienced what Josette was talking about over the last 10 years for sure, definitely, but more urgently in the last 5 and more urgently in the last 2. It seems to be gaining momentum, and everyone I talk to seems to be on the same wavelength, on the same, wow, something's happening. We are wanting more out of life. We're no longer satisfied with what our life is. We need to go deeper and have this kind of urgency within their spirit and their higher selves speaking, now's the time, now's the time, now's the time. So spiritually, I'm feeling that real push to change, to make things, cut off things that no longer serve us, go in a different direction, and just be in a state of listening, being and feeling, and especially understanding our emotions instead of pushing them away. So there's a big shift that I feel, and many people that I speak to, and especially women, stepping up into a new role now. There's something calling them. There's something telling them there's more. There's more. Keep looking for it. There's more. So from a spiritual point of view, yeah, we're certainly changing.
Yeah, I love what you're saying there about wanting to go deeper. It's like moving from the mind to the heart, right? We've moved there, and wanting more. It's like I even talk to my kids, and they're like, we just want experiences. We don't want the things. People don't want the things anymore. It's more about really living life and experiencing the richness of presence, of being, of living in the moment, and not so much like we used to live in the past. We used to live in the future, and not so much in that, really narrowing that space into right now in the present moment. So yeah, thank you for that, Jan. It's beautiful. Bex, yes, love to hear from you.
Absolutely. What Josette and Jan really resonate with me as well, and especially that feeling of time. So Jan talked about that change in energy of feelings, and bringing more things that are getting fast. Things seem to be getting faster, but also clearer in a way. And I think the moving into the Age of Aquarius especially is that it's a transition as a period of time, not a date. So people will be doing it at different levels energetically as well as consciously. And I say that purposefully because I think there's a lot of people that are unconsciously conscious in what's happening, in that they know that something's happening, but they're not yet fully conscious of what's happening. However, they've got, things are changing in our external world. If we look around as to what's happening in our external world, it is a reflection of our internal worlds. So, there's a lot of things that are happening in the way of hierarchies and organizations, and, people really having to be in their truth, and the truth not only with themselves, but also with others. So I feel like the Age of Aquarius is really about changing from the collective, from the I to the collective we, and being quite conscious in that change. So being able to, have a lot of acceptance of others that are in the same world as you. So, we've seen a lot of acceptance in gender fluidity, brave collective attempts to fight equality all over the world. So as this is really happening, we're actually seeing it, and we're now being moved by that as well. So before it used to be that may be happening to somebody else, but there's a lot that's been happening to us as individuals. And we understand more about that collective we, and we're not uniting as communities and creating a collective change. And that's what I feel the Age of Aquarius is. It's bringing that community back, and also renewal of old social structures, and really connecting back to the planet and nature. And I feel that that's such beautiful work that Josette is doing in that, bringing nature back, because that's for me a beautiful reflection of who we are as well. Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like we're having a remembering. So even people that are not conscious of what's going on are remembering that we're here to be equals, that we're here to not judge, that we're here to be authentic, that we're here to work in circle, and not the way that it used to be. So yeah, I love that. Thank you for that, Bex. It's perfect. Donna, let's hear from you.
You can hear me okay? Oh, good. Wow, I just so appreciate what all of you said, and there's such a beauty to going last, because everything what you beautiful women just shared is such a ditto on this end. There's something that I'd like to bring to the equation, that is the word patience. The age of the Pisces is over 2,000 years old. And so there's a time for all of us, feeling the shift and feeling the urgency for change. And that is apparently what needs to happen in a very big way and profoundly, as fast as possible. But without patience and compassion, like all of you have brought that word compassion into the story, is just being compassionate with others who aren't aware of that. And to realize that through history, when you look at when the planets are aligning and things are happening like this, over civilizations, energetically things are going to happen. And I am a voice for nature, and just like Bex was saying about how nature is a guiding force for me. And when I work with people, that is the biggest tool that I can give people to go through this transition, because this is a major. The first time I heard the Age of Aquarius is when I went to a Broadway play called Hair. The Age of Aquarius, Age of Aquarius. And some people take it back like, oh, it's been happening since the 60s, right? When that song came out. And so we've had a little time to settle into this new age, whatever. But I don't think for any of us, even on this call, who are familiar, because we're all on this panel because we know something about this, the average person out there is going to require a lot of nurturing and a lot of patience and understanding to get through this. And the more we can do it in a way and facilitate the conversation from compassion and understanding, because a lot of people, they think astrology, they go woo woo, but right now I think more and more people are looking towards the more alternative ways to bridge these uncertain times. And so to me, the Age of Aquarius is something that's going to go on for the next 2,000 years. We're not going to come up with all the answers right now, and we're opening the doors, opening the vortex to allow this compassion to flood through, this collaborative mindset from this me trying to overachieve at the sake of someone else. And women like are coming forward right now. And I just love the fact that we're having this conversation, and I'm just bringing it back to patience and see where this conversation goes.
I love that you mentioned patience, because that's definitely been a teacher for me. Patience is something that I'm reminded of almost on a daily basis, because I come from that, like, let's do it, let's go, let's get this done, how can we figure it out? And we're not there. We're here to allow things to flow through us. And that happens in the present moment as you're being patient and compassionate and in your beingness, and just allowing and trusting that we are where we are because it's the perfect place for us, and we're going to be guided to the next best place or step for us. And I think that's really, really challenging for people, because we're used to controlling, and we're being asked right now to kind of let go of control and to allow things to flow. And that's different. That's different from how we've operated as a collective for 2,000 years plus, way long time, right? So, and I wanted to mention, I love that you started singing the song, because if you look back at some of the lyrics that some of our really important, impactful musicians, singer-songwriters, even playwriters and movie, they had foresight, they saw this coming, and they were the pioneers of bringing this new idea to us. And so I love to listen to nowadays music, because it does kind of set the scene for how pioneers, leaders are thinking, and how our youth is going to be changing and responding to that. So thank you for that, Donna. That was beautiful. And what I would love to do now, I think, is a perfect time. I usually do this later, but I think the listeners would love to hear some tips or techniques or a tool or something that they can use to help navigate this change, because moving into the unknown is scary to a lot of people. If you're not used to what that feels like, and you're used to controlling, how do you do that? So how do you bridge the gap? So I'd love to hear from you. Does anybody want to start with that? Donna, go ahead.
Yeah, I would love to, because, and it especially comes home to me right now, because I'm here visiting my 7-year-old granddaughter, and, I'm an animal lover, nature lover, and children, and when you watch life through the lens of a child, they're not indoctrinated with what the baggage that has come along with 2,000 years, right? or some, not that all the Pisces era was baggage, but they're the undoing of the new age. And these children, when you watch them and you watch them play, and when you allow them to be free to express themselves and to honor their feelings instead of speak when you're spoken to, okay, and when we listen to the innocence with patience, that is the new dawn right there, and the newness.
Donna,
in the
yes, you cut out.
Oh, did I cut out?
You cut out real quick. So when you listen to was cut out, but yeah. So when you listen to something, what did you say?
That's the new dawn. When you listen to the innocence, when you listen with patience instead of crushing the spirit, right? The spirit has been crushed for a long time, and we have been put into these roles and these categories and these boxes. And when if we truly want a new dawn and a new age, we learn from our four-legged friends, or the creatures with no legs, right? And look to the innocence, and allow ourselves to be innocent ourselves, to express ourselves like a child. Okay, the faster we take care of a wound, the sooner it heals. And what we do is we tend to, because of all of what we've learned, is to hold that in. You don't see a child holding that in, unless you're, the child. So I really challenge all of us to have a toolbox where we are open to receiving the innocence, the newness, allowing ourselves to really be fully in the present. Like Sophie was saying, being present is a tool. It's a miraculous tool that when you watch anything on TV or in the media, the fear is in the past, the anxiety is in the future, and the present is a gift to receive it in the now. And when you watch a child, that to me is where we're all going to learn the most from, and come back to our inner child as well. When we were born without all of these things that weigh heavy on us. So to me, that's a number one tool. And I would love for all of us to bring the child out forward and to listen to more children and allow ourselves to be more childlike, because we will get through this transformation. Maybe in 1,000 years, we'll get it. We'll get this collective thing, hopefully sooner, but it's going to take that time, and being patient with our children, right? And our inner child.
I love that. Thank you for that, Donna. I think children are just so full of light, especially those that are being brought in right now are just so full of, they don't come with, like you said, they don't come with the heaviness, the programming that we've all, we've done a lot of clearing and releasing, and a lot of the, a lot of that's not there anymore. So I agree, because when you're playing, when you're in that childlike wonder, anything's possible, and you're
Right.
joyful. And when you're in joy, then all these magical things happen. So
Yes.
yeah, I love that. It's a way of bringing more magic into your life when you are able to connect to that innocence and that play and that joy and wonder and imagination and all that good stuff. So I love that. Thank you. Bex, I think you had your hand up too next. Do you want to?
Yeah, I did. I love that. Bring your 4-year-old self. That's what I always say. And a lot of other people that I know have, instilled that in me with helping me, be my creative self and be present in the moment. I think that's the biggest piece there. So I love that, Donna. I think the other thing too that that children show us, but also that we can do and we can use as our little toolkit is I help people with learning with the language of unconditional love, and shining a light on the conditions that we put on ourselves while we're in human form. So by helping understand the experience of being a human, we can understand the conditions that we put on ourselves in relation to that. So, unpacking things like, the maybe some shame, imbalances that you might have that aren't perfect. So moving them more to the condition towards love rather than the condition that we've put on that. So what will it take to actually move away from that feeling and actually more towards the feeling of love and self-acceptance, and it's still existing, but there being a different way of looking at it and feeling about it. So not taking away that it exists, but actually the perception of self and the perception of others, because that's where we put conditions on ourselves as humans, is that we have to be in a competition, or there's this competition or this specialness. There has to be a specialness to us, so therefore that creates a separateness to us, and really it's about healing that divide, so that condition that we've put on ourselves as humans in this form, because I believe that we come in a purer form, and that's why children are the shining light, because they don't have those conditions yet that they've put on themselves or that they've learnt from society. So let's get that unconditional love and back, so that we can actually find ourselves again and also see each other in that.
So true. I love that you mentioned that, because we are, the age of Aquarius is all about shifting from old to new, and shifting the old programming into like the non-judgment, non-attachment, non-duality, non-separateness. And in order to do that, right now we are living in two different worlds. It seems like we've got a foot in our ego, which is the whole control, attachment, identity realm, where we're just stuck on the no, but it's my way, it's me, that. And then we can rise above that to have a different perception of what's really happening in the bigger picture, and look from a non-judgmental we type of perception. So that's a great way of doing. I love that. Thank you, Bex, for that. It's perfect. Yes, Jen, let's hear from you.
What a great conversation. Excuse me. I love the fact that we've brought up the children, and our own inner child is very important to get in touch with because of the innocence that brings. But if we get in touch with our inner child, we also can have wisdom with that innocence. So we can look at new situations, excuse me, we can look at new situations in a new light, but also with innocent eyes and wonder. Now, that leads me to surrendering. So I think we all now moving into this transcendent state in our own lives. There's a lot of surrendering that needs to happen, a lot of giving over, but not giving up, just giving over. And that's what a child does. A child surrenders through trust. When they have ultimate trust in someone, and an adult, they surrender and let that adult guide them, and they have a sense of being looked after and being nurtured and safe. So where do we find our safe place and our safety and trust to be able to surrender? Well, that's probably different for lots of different people, but to me, it's my higher self, and who I also call Goddess. And I come from a background of go, 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 being a retired nurse and having to control everything, micromanagement, being a single mum of 2 children. I was in this world where I had to control it or it would just go off the rails. So coming from that situation to a place where there's a need to surrender to a higher purpose in a state of safety is a big thing. That trust is earned over a period of time, just trusting with small things. And as the small things get answered and we grow in our wisdom, then more things and more things we can trust and hand over. So keeping that innocence still within ourselves and that child within ourselves, but trusting and surrendering to a part that will give us the answers that we're looking for and the patience to wait. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. It's so interesting because surrendering to what is, surrendering to what's going on, surrendering. And a lot of times it requires people to be brought to a place where they're willing to surrender, where it's like, okay, I give up. What is it? What's the answer? I'll do anything. I trust that there's something bigger than me that's going to, keep me safe and secure. And sometimes it takes a big event or something to bring you to that place where you're like, all right, I give up. I just I surrender to what's going on. I know it's got to get better. And in that place, you're held in these arms of trust and faith. And when you're in that place of being held, because there's no other place to go, it's just this beautiful feeling. And you that feeling, that place allows support to come in. It allows other opportunities for love and support and, to sustain you and resource you and all of that stuff. And it's a beautiful thing, but it's scary to let go. It's scary to do that thing. And so I love that you bring up trust and faith, because, well, you didn't bring up faith, but I'm bringing faith into it, because, faith and trust are what has gotten me through so much. And love, just loving something so much, putting so much love in that, that, I mean, at the time, I didn't even know that was a high frequency thing, but I knew that if I could just love something so much, it would be okay. And if we love ourselves so much, we're going to be okay. We're going to be safe. We're going to be okay. So yeah, thank you for that. I love that. And inner child work is super important. So we all need to do it. We all have stuff, right? We all come with stuff. So thank you, Jan. Donna, I want to hear from you.
I was just putting thumbs up to Jen, because I love the word surrender. I use that a lot. I've been surrendering more. The older I get, the wiser I become to know that surrender is a good thing. Because when you're a kid, like I call uncle, right? You call uncle. But one of the things that the first question was asking about tools, and while I was listening to all of you guys' wisdom and sharing what you were sharing, and this whole thing about surrender and also resilience is another word. It's a very, very important tool. Like when you look at how they build bridges and how they were successful, the ones that the ones that collapse are the ones that are rigid. And the ones that are built with springy and more buoyancy and levity, to flow, right? Those are the bridges, and those are the buildings, and that's the way they're doing all the architecture now in these earthquake prone places, which is most of the world now, but. So resilience, surrender, patience, all these words, and unconditional love, Bex. I just, don't you just feel good having this conversation? This is such an important conversation. And so I just think, when I think about a tool for people to get through these things, is to feel that fluidity, feel that flexibility. The Age of Aquarius represents energy. I mean, that is one of the predominant characteristics of the Age of Aquarius, is that we're all working in this new energy field. And so how we navigate that, it determines how resilient we are, which means surrendering into a new way of not being so rigid, stuck, like we had talked before, into these boxes, and allow ourselves that innocence of a child, and just to allow ourselves to explore a new side of who we are. And that takes allowing other people to change, because so many people, where a lot of the problems that are happening today is that, you're like this, or you're just like your father, or whatever that Age of Pisces did to all of us. We were supposed to fall into these certain patterns. It's not that way anymore. So flexibility is important as we surrender into this new era. And that's a tool right there.
Yes. Flexibility, flow, fluidity. I love all those words. I think, it is. The Age of Aquarius is a different energy. It is about energy. We are learning more about energy. And what I'd love to bring into the conversation is consciousness, and maybe how people could become aware of this energy change through their shift in consciousness. So does anybody want to talk about that? Josette, yeah.
I wanted to mention everything that everyone has said is just like so beautiful. Every time I hear someone bring some other nugget up, it just really calms me. So it feels great. One of the things that I wanted to mention, and this does play into consciousness, is the process of identifying the current belief system that you operate in versus what you truly value and what you ideally think that what you think you operate in versus what you actually operate in. And matching up that belief with the value is then getting the energy in alignment. So the belief system I'm talking about is that generational belief system that's passed down to you energetically that you may not have a conscious awareness of. And so you somehow energetically start fighting with yourself in a way where you interact or do things or make decisions based on a belief system that isn't really part of your value system. And then you're constantly in this influx with yourself, which then causes that friction and that frigidity that Donna is mentioning, that, you know, the flexibility is really where it's at. And so going through that process of recognizing the belief system and releasing it and bringing it into alignment with your current values is a practice. It's not like once you recognize it, you go, oh, I mean, there's magic there, definitely. Yet it is a practice. It will come up and challenge you over and over and over again. And this is where you get to use nature in ways to show the resiliency that we all can experience by continuing that practice, which raises our consciousness. And so how do you do that? You look at what do you believe and look at what did you grow up with and what do you truly value now, and see if there's mismatches there. And when there is, you just work through that process by identifying it. And every time a situation comes up, you then can make that shift. And it's all about bringing in that patience, the grace that you have for yourself, bringing in more self-love into the picture allows you to then continue to grow in that new way of being for yourself. And I think that the younger generation has a real head start from a lot of us who've grown up in that other system more, where it's more ingrained in us. Because I see it with my daughter, my youngest is 21, and she's amazing. And I just think, wow, you know, if I had half of what she has when I was younger, how great would that be? So that's my contribution there.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love it. And I also love looking at the leaders of tomorrow, you know, well, the leaders of today and tomorrow. Because it's so refreshing. You know, I hear a lot of people that are like, oh, the world's whatever, you know, all this negative stuff. And I'm like, but look at our youth. Look at where, like, they're so far ahead of where I was. so far ahead of where I was. And I have great hopes for the future of mankind. So, but I wanted to mention, I love what you said about challenges, about facing the challenges and shifting into grace and patience and love. And I think what we're used to doing, many of us, is pushing away the challenges. Like, that doesn't feel good. I don't want to deal with it. That's not, you know, or avoidance. It's resistance or avoidance, where that is where we need to dive. That's exactly where we need to dive, because that's where the shift is going to take place. If we don't dive into it, we cannot, there's no change. There's no change. Yeah.
You can't really maintain a higher level if you don't. You'll just keep kind of getting sucked back in.
And that is where your consciousness sticks. So yes, Donna, go for it.
I just had a couple little triggers there. Just a little, I have to share this. You said mankind, and I just want to, you know, this is part of the Age of Aquarius. It's not human. It's not humankind. It's certainly not mankind. Shifting the consciousness to life kind. And I know all of us are nature lovers. This is what I write about in my books, and I prophesize about. It's life kind. It's all creatures, large and small. So, and this is truly the age of Aquarius, where we are energetically interconnecting everything to the systems and cycles of nature. But the shifts and all the stuff that we're talking about, we have been stuck for 2,000 years, right? That's long enough. The shift can happen with patience. We don't need to dwell, right? Or, like, I love what Jeanette said, I mean, we have to get through it and go through those layers, but how long are we going to take to do that? And again, I look back to the child, they get an owie, they cry, they put a Band-Aid on the boo-boo, and they're fine. But when the older we get, it seems like we're holding on to these wounds, and we're holding on to this old way. And I think it's as easy as this video that I watch of Bob Newhart. It's a 5-minute thing on YouTube. It's called Stop It. We have to stop the craziness now. And it's up to us. Like, all of us are older. We're talking about children. Why retire when we can inspire? And allowing our light being to just push that negativity aside, compost what doesn't serve us, and allow ourselves to rise like phoenixes and like the ripple effect, perpetuate all these things that everybody has said is so beautiful. And like, I could be on this call like 24/7 right now, just hearing all of you speak about love and compassion and unconditional love and kindness and caring, and using that vocabulary, right? We're in the age of Aquarius. We're in the age of consciousness. We're in the age of transforming energy. And so anytime we fall backwards and say, but my mother said this or whatever, but this happened to me. You know what? It happened. It's not happening, bringing us back to that present. So, usually I'll tell a client when I work with them, I don't work with anybody for longer than 3 months. If you're not through it, that's enough, right? And even like, well, it depends on how big the trauma is, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. That's what I let people know. It doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to be in these molds anymore. We don't have to have 20, 30, 40 years of therapy and spend all our hard-earned money on somebody telling us, what was, and that's why you are. More play, more hugging trees, more nature, more grounding barefoot, more elevating with the rise of the age of Aquarius, what the song says, and like doing little simple things like myself, I said, like, maybe it was 5-6 years ago, I'm not cutting my hair until there's world peace. Again, back to the musical hair, right? What that represents, whatever we all do, just when we can look in the mirror each and every day, whatever that is that you're doing every day, this is just a reminder to me that I am different. I am now, whatever it is for somebody might get a little tattoo that says, I'm living in the age of Aquarius, whatever it is, as a reminder to let that shift run through as quickly as possible to get through that negativity. And that's the roles that we're playing, that our children are watching us see this. They're not seeing us sitting around going, oh God, I should, I would. They're seeing us going, yeah, I want to play too. And we're part of that, this shift, right? We're just part of it. And
I love that. We are part of the shift, and we are role models, and we are leaders, and we are leading. And thank you for pointing that out. I don't ever use that word. I don't know why that word mankind came through, but I love life kind. And we do need to be careful. We do need to rephrase our wording because it has energetic frequency. It holds energetic frequency. And I usually say all sentient beings because, that includes everything, all sentient beings. But it's funny that slipped out, because it's a good talking point to become aware of the words that you're using, because the words have frequency, which is all about where is your consciousness being held, what frequency is your consciousness being held at. So thanks for bringing that up. And I think Bex, somebody had their hand up? Yeah,
I did. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love what Josette said and Donna said in relation to both the language, but also maintaining, and I want to talk about how to sustain rather than maintain, because maintenance is, you know, for material things like cars and houses and those types of things. But if we really want to continue something for ourselves as life kind, then we need to sustain it, and that's the emotional sustenance, that's the nurturing, you know, all of those aspects of the hierarchy, Maslow's hierarchy of needs getting met is about sustaining, not just maintaining. So just wanted to touch on that language, because again, I've always said, change your language, change your life. And that for me is such a powerful thing with being able to lead in this age. And to lead in this age is actually changing the language that you have for yourself. So, you know, what you're telling yourself in your head is still the language that you have, that you're talking to yourself in. So changing that for yourself then will help that inner world, but then also looking at the language that you use in your external world as well, how you speak to people, the words that you use to describe things, how you're actually, you know, talking to others and hearing them speak to themselves. And, you know, the behavior that you walk past is the behavior that you accept. So are you going to let them talk to themselves like that, or let them talk to others like that as well? So I think that that's a really important part of leading in this age of Aquarius, is acknowledging that you have a part in this, that it's as simple as changing your language to in yourself and to yourself and others as well. And that's how you can sustain a really clean energetic footprint, because that's what I think we can do as leaders in the age of Aquarius. So there's a lot of talk about, you know, leaders doing the carbon footprint, you know, looking at the earth and what footprint we're leaving on the earth in relation to carbon and net zero and all of those fun, fantastic, you know, external words. But how about our internal world that we can actually change, and our energetic footprint that we leave not only on the earth, but also with others? And Donna mentioned about that, you know, looking at the young'uns that are looking at us to actually see how we're leading and how we're living, not just leading, how we're actually living and treating ourselves. And I think looking at our own energetic footprint for ourselves that we're stepping every day, if we want to look at it as a literal footprint, how are you stepping into the world each day energetically filling your cup and emanating that love and light and laughter.
Laughter is so important. I love that. And really, you know, a lot of people say, well, how can you spread love and light as a leader if you're doing less, if you're not doing all the time? And it's like, it's just through your beingness that you radiate that out, and that's enough. And I think people need to know that's enough. You are enough when you're in joy. That's enough. Because things will lead from, things will, you know, come about just from that energy, from you being in that energy. So Bex, I love everything that you said. Yeah, leaving a clean energetic footprint as leaders. That's great. Yes, I love that. Jan, would you like to talk about this?
Yes, thank you. Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Oh, I have a lung issue, and every now and then it flares up in my speech. I'd like to go back to when you were talking about positivity and negativity, and people cutting off things because they believe it's toxic or something like that. When lessons come to us and they come in not so pretty packages, if we don't face them, they will keep coming, as we all know. If you don't actually do something about the lesson that's blaringly obvious, it keeps coming and coming and coming in different forms, but it's the same lesson. So I think it's very, very important to speak of this, what people call the shadow side, that that when a lesson comes in a not pretty form, we don't see it as someone being toxic or someone being negative. There's this real positive, everything has to be positive, positive, positive movement that I believe is not very healthy for us at all, because we get into that frame of mind that everything should be flowers, butterflies, and rainbows and light. But there is a shadow side, and that is our spirit, our higher self, and goddess, whatever you'd like to name that energy, is putting in our lives to teach us something that we're not facing. And we can get into that habit of going, oh my goodness, that's negative, so I'm not having it in my life, or I'm not having that person in my life because they disagree with me. So it's very, very important to see that the challenges and the chaos that often come into our lives is there for a purpose. It's not evil or the devil or anything like that. It's a purpose life lesson coming to us constantly, and we're not doing ourselves any favor by pushing that away. We need to embrace it, just like you said, Lisa. Embrace that and see, instead of saying, oh, why is this all happening to me, to say, what is the reason behind this? What there has to be a reason behind this. I just wanted to point that out, because doing shadow work is important, and our spiritual side is not always the butterflies, and yes, it is joyful, but we need to go through the lessons to get to the joy and the bliss, and then we can more easily recognize a lesson when it's coming.
Yeah, so important. I think I love what you said about not everything needs to be positive. I mean, we're looking at non-duality, we're looking at non-separateness. So we're really moving from right, wrong, good, bad, pretty ugly, into it is all of it is. It just is. And so dealing with it from that point of it just is, and what's the gift in it? I think is a perfect place to kind of round out this talk, and just the people that come into our lives are teachers. All of our relationships are teachers. Things that happen are teachers. And, we can find that mostly in the people that we surround ourselves. They are our teachers. They're there for us to learn whatever it is that we need to learn. They're reflections of us. And looking at it as not, oh, that's a toxic person. Well, maybe it is toxic to you, but what is the gift behind that toxic person coming into your life? What do you need to step into to be able to have better boundaries, or whatever that lesson is? So yeah, I love that you brought that up. And so we have 6 minutes left. What I'd like to do, this conversation was awesome, is just allow you all to have the space to share a little bit about an offer that you have, or the work that you do, or how people can find you. So maybe just take a minute each, and then we can have Sophia wrap it up for us. So Jan, did you want to start? Just share a little bit about what's going on with you. What do you have? How can people get in touch with you? What offers do you have?
Yes, I will put my website and my Facebook profile down there in a moment. Yes, well, people can find me on Facebook under Jan Ravenfeather. I have a tribe in the Sacred You community called the Many Faces of Goddess, which is going from monthly to fortnightly, actually, because we're getting into the meaty parts of goddess energy and archetypes, and a month apart is just not, it's just not doing it for the momentum. So we're doing that. And I also have a fledgling temple here where it's called the Temple of Healing Wisdoms, where we teach women mostly, but anyone is welcome, different healing modalities, so we can help to heal ourselves and others, which is currently going under some changes, because there's a new course coming for next year that's been brewing for a while, So that's exciting stuff. I'm currently writing it now. That's very exciting. And I will, as always, offer anyone who wishes to take me up on a free offer of a goddess card, oracle card reading of their choice. Happy to do that for anyone interested in what goddess has to say to them in this current time.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jan.
Thank
Sounds awesome. Donna. Am I frozen again?
No, no,
Am I-
Donna, she might not have heard you.
Oh, Donna, did you want to share?
Sorry, I think you froze over
I
here.
did freeze.
Yeah, well, I really appreciated what Jen just said, but I am a positivity coach. I don't work with the shadows. I leave that up to people like you and wonderful people out there who do that. I've worked in the shadows and been in the shadows long enough that the rest of my life I am working from that positive space in the Age of Aquarius. And I have a positivity movement, actually, a De-Stress and Thrive membership where I teach holistic immune boosting culinary classes, nature therapy, and help people live and work like the future matters. And you can find out information about that at donnamaltz.com. That's DonnaMaltz.com. I also do a live broadcast every Thursday. In Australia, it happens to be Friday, and actually tomorrow I am interviewing the one and only Sophie Soul. So I hope you guys will all come on and hear this incredible woman who's responsible for bringing us all together. I'm going to be honoring her and sharing her gifts to our tribe, and it gets restreamed out to several places. I'm also an author. I've written several books, one called Living Like the Future Matters, The Evolution of a Soil to Soul Entrepreneur. And one of the things I do is I coach and I help entrepreneurs become eco-entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs who are starting out, guiding them in the direction of serving Mother Earth with their life and their works and their work and their purpose in life. So there's many things I do. I'm also a nature photographer, and you can see all this on donnamaltz.com. And I offer a free consultation too, like Jen, on my website. So if there's any way that I can serve you to help you get through this new age, I am honored to do so. And I want to just thank you guys all and for all your wisdom. And Lisa, you are just such a tremendous facilitator. Anytime I get to be in the same room with you, in the Zoom room. So I just really enjoyed all of you so much. And everybody who's listening, you got this, right? You got this, shadow or not, whatever, you got this. And we need every single body out there to be the change that we're meant to be in this evolutionary time.
Perfect. Thank you, Donna. And we're going to have all the links on the replay or wherever this is being streamed. Everything's going to be accessible for you. So if you're listening on the live stream replay, you'll have all the links to all of these panelists and their goodies. So Josette, did you want to share?
Yes. So my website is guidancetowellness.com. And I am getting ready to do a masterclass coming up on October 5th. And it's The Secret Wisdom to Self-Mastery. And I teach through these secret wisdom keys that are the foundation for my self-mastery program, Seasons of the Soul. And I have additional courses other than just the larger group program. I have smaller group programs and courses that are all online. It's kind of a hybrid of online and live. And so I'll link all of that in the chat so everyone can access it if they need to.
Awesome. Thank you, Josette. Bex, love to hear.
Thank you. Well, I am on becksmith.com.au, and I do one-on-one mentoring through a Sister of Support sessions that I offer. I also have a beautiful community called the Utopia community, which is using nature as a mirror to help us make life more purposeful. So that's a beautiful community there. And I also have a report, a free report actually on my website that you can actually go to help you find your flow and change and make success purposeful for you. So that'll be great for people that want to step into their personal power and their energetic footprint this in the Age of Aquarius. And excitingly, I have a February retreat happening, maybe 1 day, 2 day retreat in Hawaii next year. So I'll be coming over to that side of the world. So I hope to see a lot of beautiful people there. Dates will be on my website soon, but I'll also, be on a few more beautiful Sacred Dew panels and hopefully also hosting my own community very soon. I just have to find some time to catch up with Sophia on that one.
I love it. So Bex and Donna, you guys will have to talk afterwards, and because Hawaii.
Which island? Yeah.
Big Island.
Ah, that's where I live. You're gonna come see me.
Fabulous.
I just sent you a personal message. You geek me out, girlfriend. That'll be so great. And I'll take you to all of my favorite trees and all of the nature that
Oh, so much goodness over there. I love the Big Island. I love it. Well, you girls have fun. Thank you all. Thank you so much for being panelists and for your wisdom. I loved this conversation. Was amazing. And and Sophia, did you want to say a little bit about the community?
Thank you. I will, and thank you, Lisa, for facilitating this. This is great, and I just want to thank.
Sophia, I think you lost.
I muted myself again. Sorry. There's so much, wisdom, and I just want to honour you all for coming. And can I say, this has been I think this is our 44th panel discussion in 4 months. So just really thank you, everyone, for being part of us. And Lisa, of course, has been such a wonderful facilitator for the majority of them. So good stuff. So a little bit for our community. We have got everyone's links in the comments, and for everyone who is watching, we do have quite a few people joining in. And come and join us. Come and join us for all our upcoming panel discussions. We've got some more coming up next week, including dismantling money blocks and also navigating our emotions. That's next week. And you can also join us in the community just for $1. $1 Australian, and you get to come to Josette's Gaining Self-Esteem tribe, Jan's Many Faces of the Goddess tribe, Lisa's tribe, which is raising ourselves up and embodying our infinite light, plus all of our other 30 odd tribes. You can get to join us for 3 weeks just for $1 Australian, then after that it's just $15 Australian a month. Click on the links below. And also next week, come and join us next week. It's a wonderful time. So thank you, everyone. It's so much. And also thank you for our beautiful VAs, Angel and Wilma, who have been in the background putting everyone's links in. I just want to give a big shout out to them. Without them, it would be so much.
Can I just ask, Angel, would you put in Sophie's link to her interview tomorrow so people will show up? Do you have that link there, or do you
we will fix it up, Donna. Not a problem.
Cool.
We will do that. Thank you. Absolutely. And for everyone who's watching us and all our beautiful panelists and facilitator, have a beautiful day.